Okay, class, we're about to start lesson 2 from chapter 5. Now, lesson 2, if you notice, there's just a couple of words that are faded out, but we should be able to get past that. But we are actually on page 320. So, lesson 2 is powers and roots. It says here that powers are a special way to show repeated multiplication. For example, suppose you needed to multiply 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. This series of operations can be expressed as 5 to the 4th power. In other words, the number 5 appears in a multiplication problem 4 times. We can write the operations algebraically using exponents. In the expression 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, above, the number 5 is the base. The exponent is a small number written above and to the right of the base. Tells how many times the base is repeated. So when you multiply 5 4 times, you end up with 5 to the 4th power. To evaluate an expression, perform the multiplication indicated by the exponent. So example 1, it says find the value of 2 to the 5th power. We'll write the base of the number of times indicated by the exponent and then multiply. So we add 2 to the 5th power, so we'll write that 5 times. And then 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 32. You may encounter some special uses of exponents on the mathematical reasoning test. An exponent can be any positive number, or it can be 0, 1, or a negative number. Memorize the situations described below. A number raised to the first power equals itself. So 8 to the first power is 8. A number other than 0 raised to the power of 0 equals 1. 6 to the 0 is equal to 1. A number raised to a negative exponent is equal to a fraction with a numerator of 1. 4 to the negative 2 is 1 over 4 to the second power, which is 1 over 4 times 4, which is 1 over 16. You can use a calculator to raise numbers to any power. Use the x squared or the up arrow key. Example 2, find the square of 24. So you have 24x squared, then enter. Let me pull up the calculator. So they're saying here we'll press 24, and then we have to find the x squared key, which is here. And then press enter, and it gives you 576. But to prove this, 24 squared is really 24 times 24. And it should give us the same answer, which it does. Okay, now it says find the value of 9 to the 4th power. So we'll hit 9, and then we'll have to hit this up arrow key, this up. This means the exponent key. And then you'll hit 4. So that's 9 to the 4th power, which is enter, which is 6,561. So let's put this in a calculator again to prove it. So we'll take 9 times itself 4 times, and it gives us the same answer. So now it says to raise a negative number to a power using this calculator, you must enter the number in parentheses, and then you will press enter. So parenthesis negative 4 to the second power, we would clear this out. So we have parenthesis negative 4, close the parenthesis, and then we'll hit x squared, and that will give you 16. Now what I want to show you, your answer is supposed to be positive 16. I want to show you what happens if you don't do it in this manner. So say we just press negative 4, then x squared. It gives us negative 16, which would be incorrect. So this is correct, this is incorrect. So you have to be very careful. It says to square a number, multiply the number by itself. For example, 6 squared is 6 times 6. In the expression 6 times 6 equals 36, the number 36 is the square, and the number 6 is the square root of 36. Okay, so now on the next page, we're talking about the square root. The symbol for the square root is the square root symbol. To find the square root, think, what number multiplied by itself is equal to the number in the bracket? Find the value of the square root of 144. So we think about it. What number times itself is 144? It's 12. Because we know 12 times 12 is 144. So since 12 times 12 is 144, the square root of 144 is just 12. Now, it says find the value of the square root of 144. You know that 12 times 12 is 144. So the square root of 144 is 12. Although negative 12 times negative 12 also equals 144, you will only be expected to find positive roots on the GED test. So you don't have to worry about this negative times negative. You may have to approximate the value of a square root. It says, what is the square root of 90? Now, if you notice here, you know that 9 times 9 is 81, and 10 times 10 is 100. So therefore, the square root of 90 is between 9 and 10. You can also use your calculator to find the square root. On a TI-30 calculator, you must first press second key to access the square root function. The square root function is directly above the x squared key. So let's do that. We'll press second, and then the x squared key. You notice the square root is there. You will hit that key. Now you have the square root. Now, it says here, use your calculator to find the square root of 90. Now remember, we said the square root of 90 is between 9 and 10. So we'll press enter. Now what it gave you was 3 times the square root of 10. Now it says press the toggle button to change the format to the answer into a decimal. So let's see, where is the toggle button? Okay, the only toggle button that I see here is the one that's above table. So I'm thinking that they're telling you to press second, then table, then enter. Oh, it still gave you the same thing. So I got to find this toggle button. Just give me 1 second. All right, I see the toggle button down here by the 3. So we'll press this toggle button here, and that will give us our decimal answer. So let me redo it, just so that we can get this clear. So we'll press second, the x squared key, 90, press enter. It gave you this 3 times the square root of 10. Press the toggle button, and then it will give you the decimal. All right, so now, if you're rounding to the 10th place, it'll round to 9.5. All right, now one other thing I want to tell you too. When you do a square root, it's either going to give you an exact answer, or if the number falls between two numbers, it's an infinite answer. Like this number keeps going on, but it just stops here on the calculator. So this rounded would be 9.5. Now we go down here to this practice. All right, so now we're going to go and do these practice problems. Okay, so if you look here, it says solve each expression. You may not use a calculator. So that's our cue to minimize this calculator and take out our paper. All right, so we have problem number 1, which states that 3 to the second power. Now remember, we're dealing with exponents here. So 3 to the second power just means that it's actually 3 times 3. So 3 times 3 is equal to 9. Okay, number 2, 4 to the first power. We know that anything to the first power is itself. Number 3, we had a square root of 9. Now you have to ask yourself, what times itself will give you 9? So we know 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, so the square root of 9 is 3. So problem number 4, we add 25 to the 0 power. Now we were told anything to the 0 power except 0 equals 1. So 25 to the 0 power is 1. Okay, problem number 5. We add -3 in parentheses to the second power. This is the same as saying -3 times -3. We know that we would count how many negative signs we have. We have 2, so our final answer would be positive, so it would be a positive 9. Okay, number 6. We add the square root of 49. We ask ourselves, what times itself is 49? Now we know 6 times 6 is 36, and 7 times 7 is 49, so your answer here would be 7. So now we go to number 7. We have 5 to the third power, which is 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25 times 5 is 125. Okay, number 8. Now we have 4 to the -2 power. Now with 4 to the -2 power, we have to rewrite this. It's 1 over the base of 4 stays the same. This 2 becomes positive. So this is actually 1 over 4 times 4, which is 1 over 16. Okay, number 9. 2 to the 4th power. That's 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. Number 10. Square root of 64. We ask ourselves, what times itself is 64? Now, we already did the square root of 49 is 7. So we try 8 times 8. 8 times 8 is 64. So the square root of 64 is 8. Now, number 11. We have 10 to the -3. So 10 to the -3 power is 1 over 10 to the third power, which is the same as 1 over 10 times 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100 times 10 is 1,000. So this is 1 over 1,000. That's your final answer. Okay, number 12. We have the square root of 121. Now, we know the square root of 64 is 8, because 8 times 8 is 64. Then we go to 9. 9 times 9 is 81. And then 10. 10 times 10 is 100. Then 11. 11 times 11 is 121. So the square root of 121 is 11. Now, we go down here to B. It says solve each expression below. You may use your calculator. Round your answer to the nearest tenth. Okay, now, I think primarily they're going to want you to use your, well, let's just do these problems. Okay, 13. We add 3 to the 8th power. We're going to put that in a calculator because we know 3 to the 8th is just 3 times itself 8 times. Let me move this over here. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, so we'll hit 3. This arrow here, up arrow here, 8. That'll give us 6,561. That's number 13. Now, number 14. We have -6 in parentheses to the 4th power. So, we put our parenthesis here, our -6 in parentheses, take it to the 4th power, press enter. It's 1,296. All right, now we go to problem 15. The square root of 150. Now, so we take this, clear this out, we'll press second, the x squared key, then 150, press enter, and then we see that it gave us 5 square root of 6, We hit this toggle button here, and then it says we're supposed to round to the nearest tenth, so it'd be 12.2. All right. Now 16, we add 20 to the third power. Now going back to 15, because we rounded, this equal sign should be curvy to show that it's approximation. So now we add 20 to the third power. We can clear this out. We add 20, exponent key, third power, press enter. So that's 8,000. Problem 17. We have 1 to the 15th power, 1 to the 15th power. That gives us 1. So 1 to the 15th is just 1. Problem 18. Parenthesis, -4. Close the parenthesis to the -2 power. Press enter. It gives us 1 over 16. Okay, problem 19. Square root of 242. Clear that. Second, x squared, 242. Press enter. And then we have to press the toggle button. And if we round to 1 decimal place, that'll be 15.6. And we got to make this equal sign curly to make it approximation. So your final answer for problem 19 is 15.6. Okay, now we come here to problem 20. Problem 20, we add 3.3 to the second power. Okay, now that we add 3.3 to the second power, we can type in 3.3. And since it's to the second power, oh, wait a minute, let me do the parenthesis. Let me do this right. 3.3, close the parenthesis, and hit the x squared key, and press enter. And then it says here, round your answer to the nearest tenth. So we'll round it to 1 decimal place. That'll be approximately 10.9. So 21, we add the square root of 57. We clear this out. We'll press second, x squared, 57, press enter. And then we'll hit the toggle button. Round it to 1 decimal place, be approximately 7.5. Okay, problem 22. Square root of 536. Clear this out. We'll press second, square root key, 536. Press enter. You see that we have this 2 times the square root of 134. We hit the toggle button, and we'll still round to 1 decimal place. So this will be approximately 23.2. Now, problem 23. We have 112 to the 0 power. Now we know that equals 1 from what we had before, but we could type that in. 112. Hit the exponent key, 0, press enter. It gave us 1. Now for problem 24, we have -2 to the 8th power. So we'll put in parentheses, -2, close the parentheses, exponent key, 8th power, enter. So it's 256. And that took care of problem 24. Now we come here to problem 25. It says choose the one best answer to each question. The cube shown below measures 6 inches on each side. You can find the volume of the cube by multiplying length, width, and height. What is the following expressions which of the following expressions represent the volume of the cube in cubic inches? Now remember, all of these sides are 6 inches. We got the length, we got the width, and we got the height. So they're all 6 inches. So if you notice here, we're writing 6 inches 3 times. So we have problem 25. Problem 25, we have 6 inches times 6 inches times 6 inches. Now we'll drop the inches and multiply. This is 6 multiplied by itself 3 times, which would be 6 to the 3rd power. So the one that most looks like that is C. So your answer here for 25 would be C. Now we go to 26. For problem 26, it says, which of the following expressions, let me see, I kind of cut that off. Which of the following expression has the least value? So it has the lowest value. Now we know 4 to the 0 and 4 to the 1st is going to have a higher value than these fractions. Because 4 to the 0 is 1, 4 to the 1st is 4. So it's going to have a higher value than those fractions. Now, we have 3 to the negative 3 and 2 to the negative 4. Now we can use our calculator here to determine which one has the lower value. So we'll take 3 to the negative 3, and then we could do and the toggle button works on this. So 3 to the negative 3 gives us this amount. Now we'll go 2 to the negative 4. And then, we could press the toggle. Oh, it gave a syntax error. Okay, let me delete that. So it got 1 over 16. We could press the toggle button, and it's 0.0625. Now, the other one's 0.03. Let me just do that again. 3 to the negative 3. Press enter, then a toggle button. So this is 0.03, and this went up to 0.06. So we know that the 3 to the negative 3 is the lower amount. So 26 is A, which is 3 to the negative 3. That has the least value. All right, so we are done with lesson 2, and I will put this up on YouTube. Have a wonderful day.